Back, ladies and gentlemen. What's the way again with our guest Abdullah Hashim? I will
Welcome,
repeat
brother.
the question again. Why we have this photo? Why a lot of people believed women in the Western countries believe that Islam is like just put the women in a slavery position, torture the women, just only that, and she's like in literally in jail in her house or when we walk with hijab. Why we have this? What's the reason? As you just what do you think?
Brother, I would be very simple in my answer. And somehow the simple answer is Islam did not actually oppress the women and did not torture her. But the point
Mm.
is, what really oppressed the women, from my perspective, and according to subhanallah to the current life, is the misuse of power and the ignorance and the new recent movies that actually show nowadays. So the Prophet ﷺ, if we come to know that the Prophet ﷺ said women are the twin halves of men, then how can a Muslim person, come and claim that he's applying Islam in his house, but in the same time he's the first person who is torturing his wife? Sadly, brother Bra, sadly, actually, most of the new recent movies, subhanallah, they are, especially from the 70s, actually, they are working very hard to somehow to break the women in her house because they know this is the main unit, actually. And when they come to this point, they come
Do you think
because
that the movies is the reason? The movies is the
one of
reason.
exactly because the media actually shape the minds of women nowadays.
Okay, you're
Because
talking about the media.
the media with all the means, social media, somehow movies, whatever the media is, they are working in this part, and they are letting the women in order to revolt against the parents, in order to revolt against the father. And I remember some of the movies without mentioning some names,
Yeah, but
but
what?
they
How is
the
that? How is that? Just can you please explain that to me? How is that? How is like
okay.
the media do this?
Okay, very good. So I will give you an example without mentioning the name, as I said. So in one of the movies, actually, the women, they were like living in a very preserved society, so where it's conservative a bit, and there is subhanallah, the woman is trying always to go and revolt against her father, and then once she revolts against the father, she lets all the women follow her way. And at the end, sadly, it works out good. And even that was good for the society, and the father didn't know that. So what happened is they always try to revolt
Is this
against
in
the tradition.
Islamic societies?
No, these movies are not in the Islamic societies, but actually they mainly come from the West. And then nowadays, yes, they are presented in Islamic societies.
But I didn't. I'm sorry, but I didn't got the point. It means like we are talking about how we're just we have this wrong photo about Islam and the relationship between Islam and the women. That's my question.
Yes, very good.
So,
Okay,
so
so
how
look,
you can explain this? Yeah, I
okay,
know, I
very good.
know. I know that the social media. I know there's a lot of bad things on social media. I
Yeah,
believe I agree with you. But the point
okay.
is what I'm talking about, like a lot of people and even new Muslims, I saw them. I
New
saw
Muslims.
them in person, and they said a lot of people they are trying to show her or to show them the wrong, just the wrong face from Islam, the bad face, if it's there is a bad face in Islam, and
Yeah.
let them know, just only put them in this corner. So I'm asking you the question, like what, how is that, like how we have this bad corner, if my question was clear? What's the
Okay.
reason why we have all this false informations? If this is clear, you're saying to me there's Musnad al-Imam Ahmad, you're saying a lot of sources. Prophet Muhammad is a famous person on the history, so a lot of people they can go and search online and they can find his story. But
Yes.
why we have this photo, this bad photo?
This bad photo. Look, let's make it clear in short sentences. Islam gave the woman some rights, yeah? And the Prophet
Hmm.
Muhammad SAW emphasized the rights of the women in Islam. Is that clear? So if a woman, for example, is forced into marriage with someone, that means that it's not Islam, yeah? That's injustice anyway. If the woman is prevented from her education, that's not Islam. That's ignorance. Yeah. I'm trying to clean Islam from whatever the corruption is around Islam. If a woman is denied inheritance, actually, that means it's not Islam. That it's disobedience to Islam itself. What happened from men who are trying to behave well toward the wives, it's something not even in the modern, it's not just in the modern life. I believe that was even during the Prophet ﷺ time. That's why the Prophet ﷺ was trying to preach them in different ways. Okay? And even the people who are existed nowadays, who are doing that, that's why, subhanAllah, we need to raise the awareness, Brother Bara, about the importance of family, so we can control these kind. That's why the talk today is about rights of women in Islam, because some people think, subhanAllah, think in a very bad way. They don't apply Islam in their lives, I mean, but in the same time, they claim that they are doing it. And when he hits his wife, or when they doing something bad to them, or when they take the inheritance, they claim and pretend this is Islam. This is how Islam looks like. Yeah. So by raising the awareness, we can control this, I can say, negative atmosphere in order to be more able to apply Islam in our homes. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, what do you say? Like, there's a people who are like, let me say, change the meanings from the sources. There's a specific people since Prophet Muhammad, peace upon his time, was just trying to fight Islam through lies.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that what
Yes, sure.
you're saying?
Yeah, some hypocrites were doing this, sure. And
Yeah,
some other people,
okay.
they are Muslims.
Let me say what I believe. What I believe, like, just it's a great conversation. We got the point. What I believe is, there is a people who's just looking at, let me say, show clear things, just like hijab. Yeah, for example, he will take from his culture, from his society. He saw all the people without, all the women without hijab on social media, all the women around him without hijab. When he saw something different, he didn't just ignore, he didn't just ignore it. He tried to, he don't want to change this routine, because what I believe, he likes this, maybe because of his business, or maybe because of his desires. He loves this, so he does. If all the women they wear like in this way, in this case, I'm talking about, like, from one of the reasons, he will like see, okay, in this case, what I will earn from this. Okay, and he didn't take a look at this as a protection, which is, we all know, of course, hijab is kind of protection. I will not go through fiqh and talking more about it's not our subject. But what I believe is all this, like, because against their let me say, their benefits, against their benefit. So, but how we can solve this problem? I think that will never end. And what I believe with my show, what's the way? I'm trying to fix the picture to the people. So that the people, the hypocrites, you said from Prophet Muhammad, those people are existed, were existed. The question is, that's normally will stay forever, for the last day. So how we will solve this problem? What do you think? What's the way? We need to let the people know more and show them the right informations.
Yes, very good. This is actually people who are getting advantage out of women. They are existed in all, subhanAllah, the history, and they are still existed nowadays. What we are trying to do is, let's try to deal with this, because some people are doing something wrong and they admit it's wrong, and some people, they are doing something wrong, but they actually claim it's right, and they justify what they are doing for the sake of their advantages. Okay, so the second type of people, we will try to control them by law itself, by the social law. Like, you have to respect the women according to the law, because this person will ever respect the woman, because he's always taking advantage out of her. But we're talking about the first person who is committing a sin, and he is admitting.
Which law you're talking about? Which law? Islamic law?
Yes, very good. Islamic law and the social law itself. The social law will control this and control these kind of people. But for the people who are admitting it's a sin, and I know I'm doing something wrong, I know I'm doing something bad toward my wife and I have to fix it. I know I'm not dealing my daughters properly, so I have to work on this. These kind of people, they need some kind of psychological professors in order
Yeah, but
to
okay,
step.
I understand. Let me please kindly stop you here, because the main point that we're talking about there, about how we will fight the lies, the liars, not the sinners. Okay, the sinners, maybe that's very good way what you're talking about, but the liars,
Okay.
like you go and ask, go to the streets, maybe you'll ask the Western people, go to England, ask them, go to America, they will tell them what is Islam for the women. They'll tell you, okay, it's jail for us. How we can go that? It's something. It's, we can't see just injustice, we see just injustice with Islam, if that's related to the women, about to the legacy, about to their way of the women's way of life in Islamic way. And that's the main problem. Okay, this is this feedback about Islam, how we will fix it, how we'll make this clear information, the truth, how we can show it to the people through social media. What's the solution? Because the hypocrites, the liars will still going, and they will still like just saying this lies. How we will fight this?
Very good. Since Barbara, since 15 years ago, Islamophobia raised to the extent nowadays. Yeah, and
Exactly.
most of the people, okay, and most of the people they don't know what is the true Islam, all right, and what is Islam is, and what Islam says about this. And the people
Mm.
who don't know actually, the other people, subhanAllah, lead them to the wrong directions and misdirect them. Okay, so the hypocrites, if we truly want to challenge the Islamophobia from our perspectives and from our work, we need first to raise the awareness. That's the first point, because Islamophobia is bad news and false news. Rumors are spread against Islam. How are you going to stop these rumors? Simply first raising awareness. That's the first point that you need to do.
Simply what?
Raising the awareness.
Hmm.
How
Okay.
can we raise the awareness? By actually getting these kind of topics to the subhanallah, to the flow. For example, the topic we are discussing today and the show we are having today, it's one of the means to stop the Islamophobia, and it's one of the means to raise the awareness to the people. Like, this is not Islam. Islam is what we are saying, our Prophet ﷺ, be upon him, applied in his life. Yeah.
Mm.
So, as I said and as I explained earlier, Islamophobia has to be challenged by the raising the awareness mainly, because we can't say to them, oh guys, look, we are bad guys, so please don't follow us. This is actually not Islam. We have to invite them. If we have any challenges, obstacles, then we need to overcome the obstacles in order to continue in Islamic journey. All right. And I believe the right of Islam, the right of women in Islam, Islam actually gave main rights to women. They were not existed even near, including the rights of life during the Prophet ﷺ time, the rights of education that even Europe has entered recently, the rights of education, the rights of inheritance, subhanallah, and okay, the right to choose the husband. All right, even in Europe, till the seventh, subhanallah, Islam established these rights in the very early centuries, but in Europe it came in 19th centuries. Yes, so when we come with knowledge, spreading the awareness in subhanallah and telling the people, guys, this is how Islam is. If you see any other examples, I'm sorry, it's not ours. Yeah.
My question is, are you doing this in Quran guides?
Very good. In Quran guides, we are making, subhanallah, something called Saturday Salam Club for women, so, which is, we can say Salam Club for women, because this Salam Club for women, they are raising the awareness about how to be, subhanallah, whatever related to the women, whatever related to the women. So how to be, subhanallah, how the woman should be treated, and also how the woman should treat her husband. And many areas we are covering in Quran guides, yes, in Salam Club.
Also, the women rights. Are you talking about this?
Yes, we are talking about the women rights in Islam, and somehow we are making some, we could say, yes,
Yeah, but go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
we could say we're making some group classes in order to raise the awareness generally about Islam, and specifically about the subhanallah, the kids and women.
Can you give me like example about the women's right in Islam according to Sunnah? If you have like examples from Prophet Muhammad's life. just to know the
Okay.
sources?
Yes, yes, very good. So I wanted to say something, brother Bara. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran something very nice. And I always, when we come to talk, I like to talk with Quran and Hadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِذَا بُشِّرَ أَحَدُهُم بِالْأُنثَى. When someone got the news, oh, I got a baby girl. What? ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. His face will turn black. وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. And he's very angry. يَتَوَارَى مِنَ الْقَوْمِ. He's hiding from people. مِنْ سُوءِ مَا بُشِّرَ بِهِ. Because he really got a bad news. أَيُمْسِكُهُ عَلَى هُونٍ. Should he keep it alive? أَمْ يَدُسُّهُ فِي التُّرَابِ. Or actually he commit infanticide. سَاءَ مَا يَحْكُمُونَ. What a bad judge. So what I'm saying, brother Bara, when the Prophet ﷺ came, the Prophet stopped this infanticide. And even there's a verse came in Surah Al-Takwir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ. When the infanticide will be asked, بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. What did you kill? What did you do? What did you
So you're,
commit in order to
you're
be killed?
talking, yeah, but you're talking about the women's right in existence.
Even the women right in existence that was not existed before Islam.
Okay.
The women
Okay.
right, the women's
Yeah.
the women right to life, which is very simple. Brother Bara, subhanAllah, you know, in history, woman was always a property. She was not getting any inheritance. But Islam makes the women, subhanAllah, has the right next to subhanAllah, next to the man in order to get the inheritance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, لِلرِّجَالِ نَصِيب. To the women, to the men, subhanAllah, from whatever is left from their relatives and even from their families, they have, subhanAllah, a share. وَلِلنِّسَاءِ نَصِيب. Allah can say, لِلرِّجَالِ نَصِيبٌ مِمَّا تَرَكَ الْوَالِدَانِ وَالْأَقْرَبُونَ وَلِلنِّسَاءِ. And that's it. No. Allah said, وَلِلنِّسَاءِ نَصِيب. It means, and even the women has a share. So what I'm saying, Islam, as I said, the Prophet ﷺ, I will end with this hadith. I'm sorry for the long talk. The Prophet ﷺ said, seeking knowledge is a must, obligatory on every Muslim and Muslim. The rights of education on every Muslim and Muslim, female and male. Subhanallah. So, in short, brother Bara, whatever is around Islam, this kind of Islamophobia, we are working very hard in order to keep the Islam away from it. And what if the women is oppressed? That's not Islam. That's, subhanallah, a sin. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just go and okay, my opinion with that is one of the women's right, of course. If we want to talk about between her and her husband, one of the rights, which is that's clear in Prophet Muhammad in his relationship with his wife, Aisha, when she want to watch the boys are playing, and she was I don't know 12, 13 years old, and she was just he told her, of course we're talking about that time, why she's 13, this is another answer, we'll talk about this maybe later. But the point is how he gave her space. Her also because Prophet Muhammad, he has like another wife, which is Hafsa. Also, when they were together, okay, when two wives were together, are just sitting with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and eating from the dishes, food, kind of candies. So one of his wives just put the food on the other's face. Okay, on Hafsa's face, as I remember the name. So Hafsa, what she did, and Prophet Muhammad, this is what the rights that I'm talking about. He gave her the space that she needs to do the reaction and just fight you with the food, which is we can clearly find this in the Western countries. Sometimes they do that, right? So it's very when he gave the spaces, and even he stay away, and just he watched them fighting together, and he laughed, which is like, this is the rights that I'm talking about. He gave, okay, the woman, she needs a space for her in her home or in her life, okay, and let me go specific and talk about this. In her home, she needs a space to dance. She needs a space to joke, to laugh, to eat wherever she wanted to want to eat, according to Islamic law. But she have the space. I'm sorry, she has the space. This space is very important to find her happy all the time, satisfied about the reality, satisfied about Islam. That's why we find this. A lot of women, and I in person, I know Allah, huge numbers, by the way, are just seeking knowledge. They want to learn about Islam. They want to just read what is in Quran. And this is the best way to know Islam. Go to the sources. I'm just giving you a spotlight about the sources. Go to the sources and watch the sources. Go to the Quran, go to Prophet Muhammad stories. We have Sahih Bukhari, we have Sahih Muslim, we have Muslim Imam Ahmad, and just read. Don't depend on this illusion and all this social media. Okay, go and watch the sources itself. That's how you will find the way. I'm so glad to have you in this show. Thank you so much for that.
It was my pleasure to meet you.
If you want to add anything, please go ahead.
No, that was my pleasure actually to meet you. Subhanallah, I will end with Quran. وعاشرهن بالمعروف, and treat them fairly. فإن كرهتموهن, if it happened that you might hate her, فعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا, you might hate something. ويجعل الله فيه خيرا كثيرا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turn it to be very good for you and turn it to be great blessings. So thank you, Brother Barra, for being here with you today. It was my pleasure to stay with you. Jazakumullah khairah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're much welcome. I'm so glad to have you and Quran guides with me in this show. Maybe we have a lot of scholars from your company. It's just I'm so glad with that. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. This is our show. What's the way? I'm gonna see you next Thursday. Assalamu alaikum. Have a good day.